My name is Renee Profitt, and I've known and worked with the Hiller family for over 30 years. They are the most interesting people I've ever known. I'm in business today because Jeff Hiller gave me a chance. That's what he does. Everyone has a chance. I feel like a part of the extended family, as do most of the people he meets. He loves Muskogee and the people. His desire is to make the world a better place, and his son Matt will carry on the example set. I invite you to sit back and enjoy this quick view into one man's life that continues to make a difference in the world around him. Enjoy. Renee Profitt, owner, InHouse Advertising.
Jeffrey Claire Hiller, and I'm from here, the Castle of Muskogee. I'm 76 years old. My dad was George Hiller, and he was from New York City, and his parents had immigrated from Germany. So he lived in, as a kid growing up, he lived in the German ghetto area of Manhattan. And my mom was from the Fort Collins, Colorado. And her family has a much bigger history that goes all the way back to William the Conqueror in 1066 when Normandy invaded England, and then to Tristram Coffin, who went to Nantucket Island and bought it along with a couple other investors and became a big whaler. My mom was the outdoors woman. She'd love to go camping, and my dad loved theater and opera and good food. So I got the best of both worlds, let me tell you. I was very lucky. I'm definitely a product of both my parents. The one that likes all the finer things, like plays and things like that, and my mom, who's the camper and hiker, and worked out well for me, I think. Have two sisters, one older, one younger. They're neat sisters. I had a great childhood. Lived in Muskogee, in a typical after World War II house, 3-bedroom. Went camping with my mom in Aspen every summer. We'd go up there before Aspen was Aspen, when it was still a small little town, beautiful little town, and we'd camp there for a month each summer. And then I'd go with my dad to places like San Francisco or St. Louis to ball games and opera and theater and eat out. One of the things that amazed me was going to Chris's department store and seeing bathrooms that were marked colored and white, and drinking fountains that were colored and white. And since I was on the swim team when I was 10 to 12 years old, I'd ride the bus back from the YMCA to get home, and they had signs on it saying colored to the rear. And that might give you an idea of which was kind of upsetting to me, because they had a long bench in the back that was really great to lie down on, and I could take a nap while I was on my way back home. So I ignored the sign and went back and slept on the bed anyway. But that gives you an idea of Muskogee. It was yeah, I grew up in a very segregated area, and when I went to college, my dad said he would help me with the tuition if I would go at least 500 miles away from Muskogee, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me, let me tell you. Well, I went to Earlham College, which is a Quaker school in Indiana, and the people that I met there had a whole different outlook. One of the things I remember is when I first went to visit, around the center of the campus is a place called the Heart, and there are all these kids out there, students, standing, very peaceful protest against our government for the war in Vietnam. And it's the first time I'd ever run into anybody saying, that I actually talked to, saying they were against something the government did. So it kind of opened my eyes. Now, this was early 60s, and you didn't, no, not in Oklahoma, you didn't protest, that I know of anyway, not in Muskogee. I have had a chance, thank goodness, to travel all over the world. I've been to 100 countries, seeing them fairly extensively with all kinds of different religions and aspects of their lives, and yeah, I'm very thankful for that opportunity. Probably my best friendship was with my mom. She was really cool to go camping with because she was kind of hyperactive, and I would do the cooking and she would do the cleanup, which I hated the cleanup, and if there was anything that needed to be tidied up, she'd take care of all that. That was great. So she was a really good friend as well as being a neat mom. Then I also had another friend that we'd go hitchhiking together sometimes back in high school, just to go explore new things, as Billy Pickens. Then just lots of acquaintances, lots of other people. Went to Muskogee for all my public schooling, and then to Earlham College for a year and a half till my dad died. And when he died, I came back to Muskogee to help with the business, family business. And then ended up going to Northeastern University and getting a bachelor's, and then going to Central Missouri State for my master's in education. I'm not even sure when, but sometime. He had a cerebral hemorrhage, and so it was very rapid, very quick death. It didn't linger at all. And it affected me in that I couldn't keep going to school in Indiana and still be available to help with the business. So that was different. Yeah, got married, started having kids, went to Northeastern, worked at Fan Steel. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's as far back as I can remember. I'm not sure how much help I was cleaning up. I know that he had 5 different fires going at once around the place, just burning up stuff. I was probably carrying boxes around the dome for one of my first jobs.
Then Matt would carry the boxes. That was his job, to carry the boxes back around for some more customers.
So that was a summertime job. Fireworks were huge over at Children's House, dead end street, basically a dead end street and north side of Muskogee. But we went out and we hand built cars and put up our own handmade signs and drove people to the best fireworks store in eastern Oklahoma. Finally, this facility became available, and he had the foresight to think that we could do something with it. And anyway, this is a new section that we've just added on this year. Kind of cut it into the woods here. It's the German section, or Bavarian, the Bavarian section. Black Forest, a few new shops in here, and a new stage, and just kind of cut it into the woods over here. So this used to be a boardwalk type thing where you could go and get just in the shade during the hot day, but now we've made an area out of it, a destination-ish type. Let's see, this is the woodlands area. So mythical creatures can inhabit the woodlands. We have trolls and fairies and whatnots down through here for the kids. Kids get to play games and make rag crowns or marbles, and that's a free event for the kids down here in the woodlands area. And then our woodland creatures, the fairies and trolls and whatnot, they don't get to venture out into the rest of the fairgrounds, the festival site. They remain in here, and if they do go out, then they're cloaked or something. It's part of the game. Yeah.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
I don't know that I was ever, maybe an architect interested me.
Did you have a passion in teaching yet?
Not really. That came after I started having children and realizing that they're pretty darn neat people. They were little, but they were pretty neat in the way that they learned things. And so after I got my master's degree, I went ahead and got my Montessori training and got that so that I could teach Montessori, which is where my great love is for preschool and early primary kids. That's because there's so much going on. They're just amazing. So I was teaching in Kansas City, and then I came back to Muskogee, opened a Montessori school so that my kids would have a place, because they were living in Muskogee then.
What does love mean to you?
Oh gosh, yeah, it's just basically living. How could you live and not love? There's the same thing, I think.
Tell me about the day that you found out you're becoming a parent. How did that make you feel, and how did that change your life?
A wild idea, just very, very strange. Very hard to get used to at first, but as I watched my kids grow, it was absolutely amazing. I don't know, probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. Now I have a whole lot of kids, because my second wife had 2 kids, my third wife had 2 kids, and then I've had a daughter that adopted me from Thailand, because one of my daughters went there for her in high school as a foreign exchange student with this family, and so ended up now we've got 8 kids, which is great. I had lived for a time when I was a Montessori teacher, and there wasn't a great deal of call for that in Muskogee. So I had a chance to live for a few years with it, basically very little money. So I learned to garden, and then I had my degrees. And so when I had a chance to buy this Elks Lodge and turn it into a castle, people said I was nuts and it was a huge gamble. I said, no, it wasn't a gamble at all. I knew how to take care of it. I knew I wasn't going to starve. You know, I could always go to work somewhere if I wanted to. That wasn't a problem. That's kind of it. And then it has grown from starting out as selling fireworks. We were selling fireworks at Children's House and just flat out grew it. And so we started here, and I figured this is where I could do my import business, the wholesale aspect, and also retail, and we outgrew this pretty fast. So we had to build some more buildings, and my guy that was working for wholesale said he dreamed that he lived in a castle. Okay, we can do that. So we started modifying this building, and it turned into a castle, and we've added to it quite a bit. Now it's, 38,000 square feet, something like that. And started building the buildings outside, which we now have 60 odd buildings, something, and stages. It's a bunch. I don't even know how many. It's a village that supports the castle, basically, is the concept. And I love history. I think history is incredibly important, so it fits in.
Why am I stuck out there selling fireworks when all the fun is going on over at Children's House and all the excitement is going on over there and all of the customers, and I was just out here selling fireworks in the big building with the...
That changed pretty fast.
Yeah, that changed pretty quick. And it wasn't a few years until we were all over here, and this place had way outgrown even the customer base that we had at Children's House. We were triple parking cars. We were valeting and moving vehicles because if they wanted to park and go inside, they had to double park and things like that. So
a lot of that's due to Renee's advertising too. Let me tell you, I think she started out and I had a couple of $100 to give her, I think. It's grown from there.
How has it been working with your dad?
Great.
Yeah.
Not too many. Just mainly ups. We've had a couple of downs along the way. You've got to try, but we don't dwell on those. Keep on moving forward. Our Christmas. Dickens Christmas didn't go over real well,
which is one I really wanted to work.
Mardi Gras didn't work that well. Too many dates, too many variables there. 1999 pretty much killed our New Year's party, but Becky's revived it. So
now we have a time traveler's ball that we're doing, which was growing.
and like the Renaissance Festival, it started out as a one weekend event, a couple of days where Friday and Saturday night bring people in here and walk them through a plywood maze and Now it's 11 events or 9 events. I don't. It was at one point 11 events before COVID, and covers the whole 60 acres that we have here. Kind of a food area down here. We have a food vendor over here and ice cream, food here, right there. So this is kind of the other end from the castle, where there's food down here, and the cave is just right around the corner, where you have another inside facility, which it's kind of a counterpart to the castle, which is up on top of the hill, and so some place where people can, cool place to come sit down, and you know, oh, that sort of thing. On a busy weekend, we can do 10 to 12,000 people through here on a busy weekend. So we run about 60 plus through here the 6 weekends that we do the Renaissance Festival. Basically starts last weekend of April and sometimes runs into the first weekend of June, but it started as a one weekend event, just one weekend in May, and then it's when we fill up the parking lot, add another weekend. We're maxed out now, because you go any further into April, you could have a beautiful day like today, or it could be snowing on you, you know? And then once you go push it into June, we open our fireworks season on the 15th, so there's no moving further into June. It's too tricky to set up all the fireworks and shut this thing down. And you pay your ticket to get into the Renaissance Festival. All the stage acts are free. All the shows have 15 different stages scattered throughout. Those all come with your admission ticket to get into the grounds. But there's other things that you can do along the way. Knife and axe throwing here, archery. We have 100 different vendors that have handcrafted goods all scattered throughout the grounds, so you can find unique gift items or costuming. And a lot of people come in costume, a lot of people don't, but by the time you leave, you'll have something to add to your costuming for sure. Whether it's just a feather, not a flower crown, or a knife or a cape or something. You'll add something to your attire for sure.
We're building a castle, and I had a lady that was working for me then, Toby, and she said, you know, why not a Renaissance fair? And said, well, I went to one of those when I was traveling, when I was living in a school bus, and I took my family to one in California, and it turned out to be one of the neatest days we'd spent, and the kids thought so too, and they weren't, you know, they'd been scuba diving, they were skiers, you know, it's not like they hadn't done other things, and they still thought it was so neat. So yeah, that sounds great to me. And so we've started doing that, and actually I'm extremely proud of where it's come. It was one weekend. I think we charged $5 a person, something like that. Not very many people came, you know. But we enjoyed it, and it's just been a gradual growth thing. Now people want us to add more weekends than the 6 that we do, and we said no. It starts interfering with our fireworks business, which comes after that, and bad weather that comes oftentimes in March. So we said no, we'll leave it where it is. So that's what we're doing, is 6 weekends. And then my son suggested that since we had a castle, why didn't we haunt it in October and do a Halloween thing? And now Halloween has turned into this huge event that covers 60-some acres, 62 acres, I think is what we have here. And we have 8 different events that everything from a zombie hunt to hayride, with things for kids, storytelling, and things that won't scare kids, up to we're going to take you out in the woods and drop you off and good luck, you know. So it covers quite a range of things. And now we also do, besides the fireworks we sell, but we also do a Boar's Head Feast. Since Northeastern didn't stop doing theirs some years ago, then we did that, and people sing, it always sells out. So it's a sellout thing. And we're starting to do murder mysteries now. My other kids live in other places, you know, Chicago and Seattle and Oklahoma City. My Thai daughter, Pung, she actually does help out during the Renaissance Fair. But that's my big thing is family. I really enjoy, I have a pretty neat extended family that covers every race you can think of and every ethnicity, religion. I mean, it's over 30 of us. We get together, try to get together once a year for a week, and it turns out pretty cool. Yeah. I'm very proud of the fact, because I like Muskogee. I do. It's I believe strongly in tourism as opposed to physical growth in areas that where you have to build new roads, new buildings, give tax incentives, that sort of thing. Then I think tourism is a better way to go, because people come and they spend their money in Muskogee, which is good, and then they go live somewhere else, and that's good too. You don't have to worry with that part. So we do draw people from our biggest draw is Tulsa, and then Western Arkansas draws a lot, and starting to from Oklahoma City, and the number of people that actually come like to the Renaissance Festival, which is a select group, I guess, is we've had all 50 states come, and some we have some people come from Scotland usually every year, and England, and then Guam and a few other places. So it's kind of neat. Yeah, we've got quite a name out there for people that understand history and are into it. I don't think of it as helping people up. Generally, everyone has something to offer, and if I get to capitalize on that, I can bring them into helping out at the castle. We're going to get a different perspective, and that works generally really well. We occasionally will have somebody in our management team that thinks that somebody's just not working out, and I say, well, you got to try harder, because everybody's got something. You just have to find it. I have in the past 20-some years, I had to fire one person because I just was not capable of finding the right. And the niche was there somewhere. I just couldn't find it, and it still bugs me to this day. You know, everybody has something to offer. It's looking at me and saying, wait a minute, why is this person struggling? What's the deal here? You know, you got to do better, Jeff. You know, or find someone that can find the niche for this person. There's everybody's got a place. Yeah, but it doesn't take any patience. No, all a pretty big family, so it works out. It works out very well, actually. It depends on the time of year. Actually, permanently, we have a site crew that takes care of the site, and then the office crew, and there's about a dozen of us. When it comes to the Renaissance Festival, then that number jumps to over 600 because of the people that come in from all over the country. That actually, at this particular point, which we're talking about in mid-April, then the people are coming in from all over, and they're setting up their shops and getting ready for the Renaissance Festival. Hopefully the first time they get here, it's a wow, you know, just my gosh. And I do hear a lot of people say, I had no idea this was so big, you know, that this had so much stuff, that we had this many interactions, that you had this many stages. They tend to be blown away at first by the amount of things. And they find out that one day is not going to cut it. There's just no way they're going to see half of what they want to in a day. You know, they have to spend some time. I want them to keep that kind of awe about when they come here, you know, and find something new, and give us feedback. Tell us when something isn't exactly right or something that they really liked. I do read every single survey that's turned in, and it's several thousand, you know, a show. We get a lot of surveys. It makes me feel great that they bother to take the time to tell us. So I think our patrons the ones that are actually paying for this by buying tickets are pretty much into it, and that's great.
It's hard to even think about what he's brought to Muskogee. I know he's brought people to Muskogee because there's people that have moved here because of the castle, because they find a place where they fit in or feel comfortable. Hopefully, I've heard from a lot of the people that attend the Renaissance Festival that these are the nicest people that they've ever met around the country, and they go state to state on the Renaissance Festival circuit, and they probably end up in a lot of places where there's people that are not so nice, but over a period of 27 years that we're working on now for the Renaissance Festival, brought people into town that made Muskogee hopefully think differently. Just the idea that anybody has a place or should be able to have a place in this world. It's important. Yeah, it's super important, and he'll find a place for somebody to fit in, whether it's they can paint the building, or maybe they can mow the lawn, or maybe they can weed the garden, or do something. But everybody's got a place, or can have a place if you just accept it and allow it, and that's pretty cool.
Matt's not afraid to go out there and try something, whether it's traveling around the world, because I don't think he speaks anything but English too, and he gets out there and does all this stuff.
The Ultimate Maze, that we use that for Halloween as well. It'll turn into one of our haunted attractions. The whole place transforms from one season to another. The three major ones we use the grounds for are Renaissance Festival, Halloween, and Christmas. And at Halloween, there'll be people lined up here to go to that event, or else to get onto the hay ride, which comes right through the middle of the property. At Christmas time, all these buildings will be decorated with lights and have Christmas characters in them, up on them, and around them, whatnot. And then people drive through the middle of the grounds, hoping that it sparks their interest in what is this place. And then we tell them, well, come back for the Renaissance Festival, or come back for Halloween. So a lot of cross-promoting on our different events. We ask people to fill out a survey at the end of the day when they're leaving the Renaissance Festival. If they fill out a survey and give us a few good answers, they get some feedback. At least they get a ticket that brings them to the Halloween Festival.
Yeah, the next.
Or a discount on their fireworks if they come back for the fireworks season. Kind of, we're in the middle of the grounds right here. The maypole, which is kind of the center where people are always dancing. There's always music and activities going on at the maypole. They wrap the ribbons around the pole and they unwrap them, and there's lots of fun stuff going on. So we're kind of in village center right here. It's heart of the village. And there's 8 pubs scattered throughout the grounds. Wow. So you're always within eyesight of your next pub if you need that. But there is. But we are a family-oriented event. If people get stupid, they of course are brought to attention real quick and know to not act that way around here. We're kind of a little bit different Renaissance Festival because a lot of them you go to, you're going to see body entertainment and innuendo that's kind of too much. We tone it down here, make sure that it happens, but there's warnings at the stages that says this is PG-13 show, and if your kids catch it, then it's your fault, type of thing. But this will all shape up, and this is my favorite time of the year right now. The 20 days before Renaissance Festival, when the vendors start coming in and the place starts coming to life. People are throwing on new paint, they're decorating their buildings, they're planting flowers around places. So over the next 20 days, it's go, 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 but it's the most exciting time because you see the place come to life. And that's just fun, just exciting.
Having traveled as much as I have and seeing Hindu and Buddhist and Shinto and Christian, Catholic, Protestant, all this comes down to pretty much caring people. And I do believe very strongly in that people have a soul. I do believe that, but I thing that might be a little different is I believe that the soul lives in the people that you have contact with. And if you, for good or bad, if you've given somebody a positive reinforcement, a positive feel, then your soul's going to be in good shape. And it has a chance to live forever because those people are going to touch somebody else. And so I'm pretty religious about that. Teaching small kids and seeing, and it's not so much the teaching as them learning, whether I've done the job or not, but is watching the joy when something clicks. It's just, that is magical to me. I really love that. I said before, I have a big family, and that means just about everything to me. Family is pretty crucial. It's just that I'm luckier than most because I have a really big family. Well, my 8 kids and probably a dozen grandkids, and then the people that have adopted us are a number. But when we take a family reunion, then it's generally 32 to 40 people. We take a cruise sometimes, which works really well because everybody can do their own thing on a cruise. Yeah, generally that's the way we do it. This year we're going to Branson, of all places, but that was suggested, and I said, okay, sounds good with me. Yeah, I went to Cuba and spent some time at Mardi Gras in Galveston, which was really a neat Mardi Gras. I was surprised, because think of New Orleans, and we've been to Mardi Gras or carnivals, I guess, in Bolivia and Venice and Rio de Janeiro and, a variety of different places. But this was a really, really cool one in Galveston. I enjoyed that a lot. I mean, everything you kind of look forward. Around the next bend, right. There's got to be something really cool coming up, and you'd hate to miss out on that. So I can't think of anything I'd change. Get your insurance, which is education. That's what allowed me to start the castle, is knowing that I could take care of myself by gardening, raising chickens. I could feed myself and my family. I wasn't worried about that. And if it came to it, I could get a job because I have degrees. So that's the insurance that I've had that allowed me to do this and to live for 2 years in a school bus, converted school bus, and do a lot of the neat things that we've done. I've hitchhiked all over South America, and Europe, quite a bit of Europe. I don't speak any other language but English, and that kind of haltingly sometimes. And that's a big advantage also, because when you show up hitchhiking, get off the bus or whatever in a foreign country, and people take pity on you. So they invite you into their homes and they feed you. It's worked out really well for me.
Here's our Italian section. with vendors all the way around, bathrooms over here, food vendor over there, a stage that does some acrobatic shows as well as comedy and magic over here, a pub on this end, and so we have themed areas as you go around the fairgrounds, festival grounds. Here's a little map right here. So we have the Castle Keep, which is the castle, air conditioned, and there's a stage in there, as well as a pub, bathrooms, and the offices. We are now in the Italian section, which is here. The Celtic section, where the games were. Woodlands over here, Harbor down here, Village Center, which was at the Maypole area, Tournament Arena, and that covers the blacksmith and the upper food court there, and then the King's Highway, which is the entrance, the ticket booth, and then the Remembrances gift shop, so you can get your favorite item to remember the castle by on your way out. This is the Royal Smoker. We're on the far end of the property here, and this is a 21 and over event. So we do have some entertainment that we don't share with the rest of the property. It's a 21 and older. It's an extra paid event back here, and we warn people, if you're easily offended, don't go to the Smoker because they're gonna poke fun at everything and anything and sing some songs that are not appropriate for everybody. We've had the Queen for probably 8 years. Oh yeah, it's Elizabeth. And before that, it was King Henry, and had him since the beginning almost. Dad makes sure that if you're not approachable, doesn't matter who you are, you know, if you need to participate with the patrons that come here, that pay to get inside and pay to have a good time and enjoy what they're doing. So the Queen, she'll get down and talk to the little kids. You know, that's important.
I like the possibilities and the people that we come in contact with. I think it does make a difference. If people will open up, and they generally do, then it makes a difference in their lives, because you find people, really caring people here. If you invite somebody somewhere, it's like you invite them to your house, or this is kind of like my house, then you want things to be right. You know, you don't want to invite somebody for a dinner party and say, here's your hot dog. You know, you want it to be correct, and that's probably my driving thing is I want things to be right. In my particular case, my wife and I love to travel, so we do a lot of traveling in the off seasons, learning new things. That's probably right up there at the top. Is by our travels, we've had a chance to learn a lot of stuff. Sometimes just blown me away, like really. But again, get your insurance. Be able to take care of yourself, get as many degrees as you can. I didn't have to worry about it. I knew if it fell flat, it wasn't a problem, because I could definitely feed my family and go to work if I needed to, you know. And again, that comes from having times in my life when I didn't have any money and knowing that I can make it anyway, so don't have to worry. Yeah, I've had an incredibly lucky life. That's the way I look at it, is wow. You know, I had incredible parents that showed me two entirely different worlds, and had my health, and a big family. I got it made. Yeah, basically we're geared around families. That's the whole thing. Is you know, you don't have to have a family. You can always create one here if you want to, or join another one, I suppose. But no matter what age or interest, we're probably going to have something that will interest you.
Just north of Muskogee on Highway 69, there's a big castle.